Hello, everyone, and welcome to the semifinals of the StarCityGames.com Columbus Open Weekend. Senator Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, we are here in the booth, and you're preparing to watch Brennan DeCandio with Black-Green Delirium, number 2 overall seed, against Hunter Nance. Playing Green-White Tokens, number 6th overall seed in our elimination rounds. It's a green feeling here in Columbus as the top 4 decks are all kind of base green decks, but DeCandio is your reigning Open champion. He won our last Open in Atlanta during our Atlanta Invitational weekend. We're going to see if he can keep things going. He's going to start things off with a Traverse of the Uvenwald for a Swamp. Over to Hunter Nance we go. He'll start off with a Plains and a Thraben Inspector. Nope. Authority of the Councils. I was expecting Thraben Inspector.
Wow, 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 wow.
Poor Authority of the Councils.
Listen, Hunter, your heart was in the right place. I mean, I get what was going on here, and I'm sure it served you well at various points over the course of the tournament, but now is not really that time. Tapped.
Yep, definitely tapped.
Tapped.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he wrote that on his thing. He wrote Long Island on his thing, so that is what I put. I know he lives in Florida. Yeah.
For Nance, he's got a Forest and a Heart of Kirin. We go back over to DeCandio now. Virtuous Gearhulk, the draw. In for 1 here with the Ballista. And now here's another Walking Ballista with a counter.
Tapped.
It's tapped. it's tapped.
Listen, you got to get your value.
Yes,
You got to feel like your cards are up to something.
Yeah. This is Nissa. Make a plant. I think turn on the Heart of Kirin. And give some good beatdowns, probably. Oh, yeah. In for 4.
So the Nissa stays neutral on loyalty on this path.
Yep. But the Heart of Kirin can defend the Nissa now, too, which is pretty sweet. Grim Flare the draw here for DeCandio.
That's an interaction right there.
Rishkar in hand here for DeCandio.
Oh, Rishkar plus the Walking Ballistas.
You found it.
And now your Walking Ballistas make mana?
You found it.
Oh, hoodalally. This is exciting.
Yeah. What are you doing in here when
And
you can be out
Virtuous
there?
Gearhulk. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's just so many things.
Yeah. I actually like Brennan's deck a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot to like here. Looks like he's got the resources on a mulligan here to push through Nance's nut draw of turn 1, Authority of the Councils. Turn 2, any card. Turn 3, any card.
The new nut draw.
New nut draw.
Yeah. Walking Ballistas will get counters on them now. Rishkar Pima Renegade is a pretty good one here.
So this is somewhat interesting. DeCandio can send both the Ballistas in, and if Nance wakes up the Heart of Kirin to block, whatever one blocks, he can simply use to gun down the Nissa, which will then be at 2 loyalty. But I think he's just got bigger dreams.
Yeah, the Virtuous Gearhulk plan here and just dumping all the counters around is just like, okay. Another plant token and get in with the Heart of Kirin. And even though DeCandio is underneath some pressure, he's not underneath so much pressure where he needs to change. This might be a Gideon here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Nance's start is great.
Yeah, this is a great start. I mean, this is, all jokes aside, this is the draw, right?
Yeah. This is the appeal to this deck. Pass turn back. DeCandio will draw a card, a Swamp.
And Swamp's a nice card here, as it allows him to cast the Virtuous Gearhulk and be able to attack with 2 threats. And he does need to start wearing down this board a little bit. I mean, if he wants to, he could simply load up on the Walking Ballistas and just take care of the Planeswalkers.
Which is, I mean, I kind of want to do that.
That's the floor on what he can do right now.
He's got a lot of options on what he can do here. And I think that's why we might see this turn take a little while here for Brendan. Because how does he want to balance out? He's going to put 4 counters on the Walking Ballista. Might be some time for some beatdowns. Yeah. Maybe not with Rishkar. Plant token's going to block. I was going to go after Gideon. So next thing I know, I'm going to find out Walking Ballista has Trample. It doesn't, but I'm ready to find out something new about a card from either Revolt. That's a heck of a Magic card. I think it's really, really good.
I was interested to not see I was expecting a 5-3 split here. Because 5 puts it in a spot where, oh, he can just chop up anyway. Sorry, you can just do this one at a time.
Yeah, I thought you could just. I thought you had to sack it and throw it at something.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, he can just. I thought that the 5-3 split made more sense because the Nissa was at 3, and that way you can divide up. But it actually just doesn't matter.
Yep. And now Gideon's dead.
All right. So that was again. That's Nance's. That's the draw right there, you know.
Handled by 2 Walking Ballistas and a little bit of help, don't get me wrong.
Not that Nance is out of this game, but that's supposed to be the draw where, yeah, you're playing Creature Deck. You can't, there's no way to beat this.
Here's 2 mana. Lambholt Pacifist is going to turn on Heart of Kirin. Here's an attack. Trade there. DeCandio is going to fall down to 8. But it's just kind of crazy to think that DeCandio handled that so... I don't want to say easily because it wasn't easy, but he handled it. Now he's just got to be able to take care of the Heart of Kirin, and then he can kind of turn the corner. But Hunter is still applying plenty of pressure here. Now, I believe Brennan just drew a To the Slaughter.
Oh, another thing.
Yep.
Walking Ballista is an artifact that you get to put in your graveyard whenever you want to.
It's true.
In a deck with Delirium considerations.
It's true.
That's just, while we're on the topic here.
I think it's a Grim Flare that's going to have the battlefield tapped. Pass a turn.
And Fatal Push to the Slaughter as the leftovers here.
Does he have Push in hand?
I believe he has Fatal Push in hand.
Okay. I didn't get a great look. I know he's got To the Slaughter. I didn't know if he had Push or not. 2 in the main. 4 Grasp in the main, too. Pacifist. Turn on the Heart of Kirin. In for 4 and 3. This is a Stasis Snare before blocks.
I mean, I would imagine this is going after the Gear Hulk.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. Well, well, I'm doing that now.
Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's definitely out of the bag. This is what I'm doing.
And now we have, I believe, enabled Delirium too. Instant sorcery, creature artifact.
Yep. DeCandio will draw. Another Gear Hulk, can't cast it though. DeCandio's down to 5.
And now the question is, what does he want to do with this Grim Flare? Because on the table, I guess the awkwardness here now is that unless he's willing to cast To the Slaughter just on a token, those pacifists are going to flip. I guess that what he can do is sacrifice the Walking Ballista to take care of the plant, and then his To the Slaughter takes down a real card.
He'll pass. They are going to transform. Remember, Grim Flare right now is a 4/4.
Also, DeCandio with a Gear Hulk in hand may just say, well, I'm happy to trade off everything here. Because he can put a Butcher, he can put the Ballista in front of the Butcher, he can put the Grim Flare in front of another Butcher. That is nice.
Oh, Nance is just going to pass the turn back. Oh, put a counter. Oh,
yeah, yes. That too.
You and I together, we are going to figure out all the interactions with that card.
Wow, is this doing a lot?
That card is so good.
Wow, is this a lot?
Rishkar's going to give some counters here. Now he actually has the mana to cast to the Slaughter now. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And now Nance is like approaching getting locked.
What's this? Pacifist? All right, untap.
I was gonna say I was a little surprised there that DeCandio, you know, I felt like there was kind of a point there for him to push a little bit. I just forgot that he could just use the mana to dump a counter on the Walking Ballista.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Big Snake. Big Snake was the draw.
Oh, I wonder if we can weave some interactions together this way.
Big Snake, the draw step. Nance is going to draw a card.
I would describe this as a dispiriting game to lose if you are on Nance's side of this, if that's how it goes down.
I mean,
with the draw that he had.
He did kind of double mulligan because both the authority of the councils, sort of.
Right.
Only sort of, because given that he was trying to pressure DeCandio, they do have relevant text.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying the cards were good, but it did provide some disruption.
Now we're going off with the Ballista plus Constrictor, and Rikshar allows him to tap the creatures that have counters for mana. Yep, it's about this time. Yep.
I think we're doing it.
This is doing it.
Yeah, I think DeCandio might have figured out some good pieces here.
If this isn't doing it, it can't be done. Whew. So he's going to spread around some counters here.
Mm-hmm.
And those creatures are going to get double counters because of Whiny Constrictor.
Sweet.
Yes. Yes, and yes.
So I'm pretty sure that's that.
I mean,
on this game.
I have no idea how Hunter comes back from this. I have no clue.
I mean, it's got to involve Virtuous Gearhulk. I would imagine the Planeswalkers are no good.
Yeah. This Oath of Nissa, I mean, that's a start.
I mean, but even Virtuous Gearhulk is because of the Walking Ballista. DeCandio just has so much agency over what attacking and blocking looks like for the rest of the game.
Yep.
And he's getting outsized on the battlefield. I mean,
and now now the plan I think for DeCandio is, okay, every time my Ballista gets a counter, it gets 2 counters. All my creatures tap for mana, so I can conceivably put 6 counters on my Ballista a turn.
Yeah.
Like potentially, like that's the road that I'm starting to go down.
Or do other things.
You know, like other stuff. Yes,
there's other paths too.
Yeah. Because right now, if he untaps, he has 4 lands and 5 creatures with counters, so he actually has access to 9 mana. Mm-hmm. That's 2 Walking Ballista activations with the mana left over. That's obviously +4/+4 on his Walking Ballista. Here's a Gideon. Really good card, not great in this battlefield. He'll make a 2/2 Knight ally and pass.
And you can see DeCandio just with a total shrug.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Pacifists will transform, which means they're easier to kill now. Use a counter. Take care of the plant token.
Oh, now To the Slaughter is good.
Why? Why, is there a planeswalker and a creature to kill?
If so, why?
Yeah.
And you may ask yourself, why didn't DeCandio say shoot down the token first so he could get a pacifist for his trouble? Because it doesn't matter. 'Cause it just doesn't matter.
Now we're clear for takeoff.
Yeah, I think Nance is just flat locked here. And this is the concern I had in the matchup is, you know, DeCandio's got these interlocking pieces. It's very hard for Nance to break it up. And what does the ground look like? Because there's no Archangel Avacyn there. You know, Nance is almost entirely on the ground. What does it look like when DeCandio gets his pieces rolled up together? Well, looks like this.
So when I did the deck tech with Brennan yesterday, here's a Thraben Inspector. Clue, Hunter's going to sacrifice the clue right away, draw a card, cross his fingers, hope it's something good. When I did the deck tech with Brennan yesterday, we were talking about some of the newer cards in his deck, and he said, yeah, Walking Ballista is the best rare and or mythic in this set. And I was like, that is pretty strong. And I still think it's strong because there are multiple formats of Magic. But in Standard, I'm buying in now based off of this. Like, I'm definitely entertaining that conversation. It has just run away completely with this game. Of course, there was some help with Rishkar and Virtuous Gearhulk, but it is running away with this game.
And this is, this is a dispiriting game here for Nance. I've played games like this too, where it's like this was my best draw. I can't do any better than this. And DeCandio mulliganed, and now we're here.
Going to put 2 counters on the Walking Ballista with the mana that he has available. Of course, he's actually putting 1, but Winding Constrictor means he's putting 2. DeCandio will draw, picked up a forest, and DeCandio is in the very favorable position of if he draws a land or spell, he's happy.
Every draw is good.
Yep. Because he has a Tireless Tracker in his hand. More lands means he can activate Walking Ballista more each turn, and this draw is just absurd what he's doing.
Yeah, and he can freely attack with the Tramplers here because there's just no way for Nance to block.
There's no double blocking to be had here.
Right.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
And if he doesn't block at all, he might just get gunned down. I mean, the Ballista is just 8 points on the table right now. Yeah, I mean, this attack's lethal. He needs to just chump block from here.
Yeah, I guess Flare's a 5. That's 10. Yeah, it's lethal.
Yeah, this is lethal.
It's an attack for 10. Nance will go down to 9. You can just put some counters on the Ballista and then kill him.
So he has to full chump block here.
I feel for Hunter in this spot. This is tough on the morale, this kind of game. Ignoring the authority of the councils, which again we knew kind of weren't going to be good going in, and he's drawn both of them, which stinks. He had Heart of Kiran into Nissa into Gideon, and that's about
other stuff.
Yeah, and that's about as much as you can ask for from his deck, and this wasn't particularly close.
Well, it was close. It looked like Nance had a very good chance of winning the game at various points, but once DeCandio turned the corner, Nance got shut out. There was no getting back in.
There'll be some trample damage here from the Grim Flare. Trigger. Take a look at the top couple. Another Walking Ballista in there. Yeah, I would want to draw that next turn because that card's absurd. Now here's Tireless Tracker. Play a land. Get a clue.
Tapped.
Definitely tapped. Definitely tapped. There are 2 Authority of the Councils.
Yeah.
2. 2 Authority of the Councils.
Tapped.
Yes. There you go. there we go.
There we go.
Thanks, Brennan. Thank you.
There we go.
Brennan DeCandio going to win game number 1 here over Hunter Nance. Black-green Delirium up a game over green-white tokens. So the funny thing is you didn't see a ton of the Delirium half, but there is some Delirium stuff going on here. Grim Flare is still just a good card.
Yep.
Controls the draw step. I have a feeling we're going to see Mind Direct Demon at some point, but for now what we're going to see are the sideboards here for both players. Hunter Nance has got 2 Ceram's Expertise, 2 Ajani Unyielding, 2 Blessed Alliance, 2 Natural State, a Lambhold, Pacifist, a Stasis Snare, Fragmentize, a Heroic Intervention, a Thalia, Heretic Cathar, Fumigate, and a Quarantine Field. I'll tell you what, Fumigate looks a little weird.
Yep.
But if the game looks like that, I think it's actually good.
I think Fumigate's going to be coming in this matchup and maybe Nance's best card all told for a couple reasons. One is he can leverage it better than DeCandio can because Nance has a lot of planeswalkers, so that's already an advantage. And then, as we saw, he has to be able to break that kind of stuff up because once the game looks like that, he has no recourse. So I think the Fumigate, the Quarantine Field, the Stasis Snare, all those have to come in. And if he thinks the game is going to go on for a long time and that he's going to be able to play defense, the Ajani Unyieldings are tempting. But based on that game, I would question my ability to play the long game, even with Ajani.
Other side of things here for DeCandio. 3 Lost Legacy, 3 Yahenni's Expertise, 2 Natural State, 2 the Slaughter, Nishkana, Graph Widow, Euclidus Trader of Get, Anissa, Vital Force, a Noxious Gearhulk, and Ob Nixilis Reignited.
The Ob Nixilis and the Noxious Gearhulk seem really good in this matchup. I imagine DeCandio is just going to become a control deck here as much as possible. The copy of Kalidas, the Ishkana, the 2 copies of 2 the Slaughter, these all seem like great cards to have. you may be able to defend Yahenni's expertise. I think it's probably more for vehicle style, red white aggro kind of decks. And I don't know if you want a bunch of that sort of thing against a deck with so many planeswalkers, but it's defensible. Nance has a variety of small creatures as well.
Well, we are going to go talk about the regional championships that are taking place on February 4th. A little Modern action for you Modern fans out there. I know there are quite a few of you for our Modern Classic today. We had over 200 players, so big shout out to all your Modern fans out there. Free and exclusive playmat and token to our first 200 players at each location. Now let's start with the playmat. Howl at the Heavens, drawn by Star City's own Andrea Radak. Beautiful piece of art there for our first 200 players at each regional location. Can't forget about the token as well. It's a 2/2 Wolf token that our players will receive. There are, of course, prizes on the line, along with an invite to the Season 1 Invitational in Roanoke, Virginia, and SCG points as well. And, of course, we have 12 locations for you to choose from, so hopefully one is in your area. Some stores working with for the first time, some stores we've worked with for a long time. Go.starcitygames.com/regionals. Find out more information. Plant your flag February 4th. Play some Modern, have some fun, and get an awesome playmat and token. Now we're going to turn our attention back to this match here. Brennan DeCandio, the player we're going to learn a little bit more about right now. So DeCandio is kind of an interesting case here. We don't do a ton of opens in the Florida area, but every time that we did, we saw him right around the top 8.
Yes.
And now we just seen him win an open at the end of 2016. We might see him win an open here today for the 26-year-old member of Team Next Ridge Nexus from Long Island, New York. 3 open top 8s with 1 win. Mistaken for Andrew Garfield on the regular, which just makes sense, and has cut his own hair since he was 16. I wouldn't change it. Hairstyle's pretty good. But he can play some Magic, man.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of decks here this weekend. A lot of stuff I think we expected to see. The various takes on Saheeli and Mardu vehicles and all that stuff. I didn't expect these green-black decks to be this good. And of all the ones we've seen, all of them pretty good. I think, personally, he has the best one.
Yes. His seems, the mixture of raw power and synergy seems like the best blend of any of the green-black decks we've seen this weekend. By a lot.
And again, when we had the deck tech with him, and I talked to him before when we were setting it up, I think you've been around Brennan enough to know, like, not a cocky guy at all.
No.
He was very confident in his card choices this weekend. Very confident, saying Mind Wreck Demon is busted now that Reflector Mage is gone and Emrakul's no longer in the picture. And just he said that Walking Ballista, like I said, was the best card in the set, which again is a pretty loud statement to how good he feels the card is. And he just feels very strong about what he's doing here. And if that game was any indication, if he was been doing that all weekend long, oof.
Yeah, because all those cards are pretty powerful in their own right. And when everything blended together.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Remember also he has 1 loss this weekend, and it was a 2 in Aether, the Reservoir.
Right.
Aether Flux Reservoir.
Which sounds funny, but I would also believe that's just a legit bad matchup for him.
He doesn't have an interaction.
He doesn't clock very fast
Yeah.
either. He's more about trying to lock up the game, not have the fastest possible kill.
7 cards here for each player. Nance will be on the play this go around. Fortified Village. Hunter will reveal a Canopy Vista. There's a 3-man Inspector. Clue on the way, and we'll head over to DeCandio. Grasp of Darkness the draw here for Brennan. He'll play an Evolving Wilds and pass the turn back. Canopy Vista, ready. Enters the battlefield tapped.
Taps.
Yeah, there you go.
Modern Classic top 8 players, please report to
DeCandio's going to search for a swamp.
John Allen.
It's tapped.
It is also tapped.
Yeah.
Sorry, please report to JP, who is standing in front of the stage.
What do you think was going to happen? It's tapped.
Of course it is.
We're going to head back over to DeCandio now. Oh boy. The Ballista's here.
Start this. Let's get this started.
Yeah. In for one. Nance. It's another good start. No, he didn't have a 2-drop really because Canopy Vista doing what
Did
Canopy
what it
Vista
does,
yeah. But Thraven Inspector into Nissa, make a plant is a great start for green-white. We know that. DeCandio going to play a forest. That's land number 3. His Ruinous Path for the Planeswalker. I guess it's a matter of if he thinks he can handle Guinean or not. But both Planeswalkers are just worth taking care of. That's why that's why the deck's so good, because you want to kill both of them. DeCandio will pass the turn back over to Nance. Nance will draw.
Also, you can see he has Kalidas in hand too, so there's some burden to be mana efficient here, and you kind of want to get the sources that generate tokens off of the battlefield when you have Kalidas coming in, because the regular creatures, the non-token creatures, are just so bad.
A Plains, another Inspector. Nance also served in for 1. He'll pass the turn back. 17-19 as we head into DeCandio's 4th turn. Quick update here for you on our backup match. Our number 1 overall seed, that's Steven Dykman. Finals.
Yep.
He's been destroying this tournament all weekend long. And he's got a chance to win it next round. Swamp here for DeCandio.
DeCandio, I can tell he's debating. Can I get in a free point right now? Because if he attacks, he can spend his whole turn just pumping up the ballista. But I think he would rather just play Kalidas this turn.
I am totally attacking.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? There's no way Hunter blocks.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me that point. Here's Kalidas.
Oh, I love it.
Come on. That's all day.
I love it.
That's all day.
I love it. Just squeeze him for that 1.
Come on. That point's free. It's on the house.
So now there's pressure big time on Nance to have his sideboard cards. He needs Stasis Snare, Quarantine Field, the Fumigate, something like that.
I'm going to start by sacrificing a clue. Forest into Nissa. I don't know if that's what the doctor ordered. For now, Nance will pass the turn back. DeCandio is going to untap. He'll draw. Natural State. It's got a Traverse in hand. Looks like maybe a Grasp of Darkness too.
Well, I mean, we know Kalidas backed up by removal spells is
That's just how it works.
a winning recipe against green-white tokens as well.
Yep. So, right now, also worth noting, DeCandio has a To the Slaughter in hand. And Sorcerer and land in the graveyard. If only there were a way.
To get both an artifact and a creature.
If only there were a
But
way.
certainly no card such as that exists.
Kalidas is going to attack Nissa. And a plant token will block, which I think is a wise decision by Hunter.
Yeah, it's a mopey turn, but he could, ballista down the plant to the slaughter, get rid of the Nissa and the Thraven Inspector, get a token off the Kalidas. But that's not good enough.
Yeah, you think
he can do better. He can do way better than that. So we're not going to do that. I wonder how many matches DeCandio played this weekend where at the end of it, he thought, my opponent never had a chance.
Yeah.
That DeCandio got this far ahead week 1 of the curve. And people just had no hope of interacting with what was going on here.
Hunter is really good, and his deck is really good. And
His draws
his draws are good.
Yeah. And it hasn't been enough.
I don't know what he's supposed to
Yeah.
do.
He could have cleared out Nance that turn, except leave him with a Thraven Inspector, and gotten a token with Kalidas. And that's not enough. That is not enough to get me to use my To the Slaughter.
Here's another plant token. What's this? Virgil Scarehawk? Okay. We'll see what the targets are. 2 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to load up on the plants here because putting the counters on your non-token creatures against Kalidas is just too bad.
Yeah, it's just horrible. You're right. because then he just kills those, and then you just get zombies. So you do have to do it that way.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I mean, you'd rather have one really large creature here to try to at least put Kalidas at parity, but Nance has to believe that DeCandio has removal spells in his hand, and this is sort of the best way to manage it.
Well, the tough thing here is by putting him on the plants, you're basically saying, I want your walking ballista to die. Because he just puts a counter on the ballista and says, shoot one, shoot one. Your Gearhawk did nothing.
But that's still, I think, moving on to the Thraben Inspectors is just too bad against the Kalidas.
I agree. I just don't think, like this is the best, I think. Nance basically is announcing, I need this ballista to go away, and this is the best way to do it.
Yep.
Is basically what's happening there. Blooming Marsh, the draw.
And now, I mean, DeCandio gets to go crazy this turn. You get to grass that, and then if he wants to the slaughter now, he can. Or he can simply attack the Nissa and move the...
Well, I think you just attack the Nissa because I think it's just very likely that Hunter's going to block, and then you the slaughter and you kill the other two things.
Yeah, it's whatever. And if he doesn't block, you just can sacrifice the zombie and just kill Nissa and move on.
Yep.
So it's good either way.
Yeah, it looks like no block.
Yeah, you can keep the the slaughter for later. And there's some value here in keeping the the slaughter because he does have to be concerned about Nance's one sideboard fumigate, then backed up by a planeswalker after the fact. So if he can hold on to the slaughter, there's something to be gained there. Nance sitting with a lot of copies of Ajani in hand too, which would be a way to get out from under this.
Yeah, if he peeled a 6th land.
Yep.
Would have been a good spot.
Yeah, DeCandio, you can tell, he puts a premium on the slaughter here. If you can manage the planeswalkers with what's going on the battlefield, he seems pretty committed to trying to do that because that's Nance's way of kind of cheating out of this. Is one of his powerful planeswalkers sticks, DeCandio can't get to it, and that's enough to gain an insurmountable advantage.
Well, I'm going to say this. I mean, Hunter's fighting back. He's got Gearhulk. That's going to pump up these inspectors. He's trying to make a game of it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And if he can get to Ajani, I mean, that's, he gets out from under the Kalidas, and then that's a starting point.
He's going to check his sideboard really quick.
I believe he has a traverse here, so
he does.
Trying to reacquaint himself with his targets.
Traverse to the slaughter, fatal push, all in hand. Might just go grab the snake. Let's get that ball rolling.
I think we can
I think we can do better. Yeah,
I think we can do better.
Tell you what, Kalidas plus the snake. It's another counter. I missed that initially.
Yep.
Counterparty.
Could also dial up Ishkana here as a bit of a preemptive hedge against the Ajani. Just make sure you have enough of battlefield where in case Ajani hits, then you can attack it down, even if Nance removes your Kalidas.
Yep. Here's an attack with Kalidas. Now here is Traverse. Yeah, that's actually one of the other things that I do like about DeCandio's deck. He's still got the Traverse package.
Right.
But Ishkana is no longer as good in this format as it once was. But he does have 1/2 search.
Oh, that's
good too.
Forgot
about that.
Just another haymaker.
Yeah, forgot about that. Thought he was going to go for Ishkana. I'd like this a little more. What's this? Push. Get a zombie. Pass. Okay. I'm going to talk to the booth. We're going to get that deck tech deleted. We're not going to publish a deck list. And you and I are going to go. Let's go to Grand Prix San Jose.
Just head to Richmond.
Yeah, let's get to work. Grand Prix San Jose, Richmond, whatever.
What are flights to Richmond costing?
We're gonna take this stuff down. Cut the cameras, cut the lights. Nissa gonna go down. Counters up. 2, 3. Pass. Does he want to the slaughter now? Yeah, now he does.
Yeah, now he's getting a ton of value off of it.
Yeah.
And his battlefield now with a Noxious Gearhulk will be large enough that he doesn't really care about Ajani coming down and minusing on anything.
Because you just to kill the Ajani afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pacifist. Johnny, make a Sam Black a zombie token. Untap. And draw. Natural State in hand, along with Noxious Gearhulk and a land.
now DeCandio in the enviable position of thinking, well, there's one Fumigate. Do I even really need to play the Noxious Gearhulk?
Well, the answer is yes. He's going to take care of the Virtuous Gearhulk. There's battlefield may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness.
Though Nance with his leftovers of a Johnny, if he has
If
the
he draws
Fumigate, he's like right back in.
Yeah. If he draws Fumigate to destroy this board, DeCandio's hand is a natural state, and he has, I believe, no creature lands. He'll start with a Johnny.
I mean, I know he played that pretty excitedly. This is Johnny's not worth a whole lot here. I mean, it's nice to get the Clears off the battlefield, but much less powerful than the Fumigate would have been.
DeCandio's going to untap and draw. Hissing Quagmire is what he's found. Nance is at 8?
Yep.
Nance just dead? Just attacks him?
Menace is,
yeah, because of Menace. Yeah,
right.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's it. Brennan DeCandio going to win this match here over 100 Nance. 2 games to 0. Black Green Delirium going to take care of green-white tokens, and we got a real good deck on the left, my friends.
So I think in that spot that Nance needs to exile the Noxious Gearhulk, and then he gets a draw step.